Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Andrew, aka the Black Dragon. This is Black Dragon Studios, and this is I play Raid Shadow Legends. Now, if you clicked on this video, I'm pretty sure that you might be having some issues with Magic Keep. I don't imagine you would have clicked on this video if you weren't having problems with the Magic Keep, hence the title of the video, How to Beat Magic Keep. But anyways, yeah, so what we're going to be doing today is just going through Magic Keep 20, which is where we can get it's the highest level of the Magic Keep in this game, where it just basically gives out the second biggest potion and the biggest potion, and we're not going to be getting no small potions, which is great. So it's a very simple strategy. It's a 100% win rate. There's absolutely no way, if you build pretty much with the same type of mentality that I'm building with here for this team, that you'll be able to make it through this run pretty much every time. It's not going to be the fastest run ever, but I do just want to point out too that I only have 49 days played. So for 49 days, it's not a free-to-play account. I always have to say that in every video because people are always going to wonder, can you do this with free-to-play? Can you not? Honestly, at 49 days in, I don't know. You'd have to get good pulls. You'd have to get... Basically, it's a must to be able to deal with the shield. She's going to put up a huge shield once every, I think, 5 or 6 turns, and it's gonna cover her whole health bar pretty much. So we're going to have to deal with that. And I got the answer, the best in the game, man. This is an epic right here. Geomancer, he's like the heart and soul of the team going through the Magic Keep. I don't know if I rate him in the Magic Keep, man. People are rating him 4.9. I'm going to give him a 5. I couldn't imagine somebody actually properly building out Geomancer giving him a 4 or less rating in the Magic Keep, because he just does so much. So if we look at his kit here, he's gonna probably have to be at level 60 because the waves are gonna be intense. They're gonna be dealing a lot of damage. There's really only one character on my team that could do this at level 50, but everybody else has to be at level 60, just in my opinion. But now Geo's kit is pretty legendary for an epic. He's got an aura, 25% ally HP in all battles. We're not going to be using that in this particular battle, but it is a really decent all battles aura. He's got Stone Guard, which is basically an ally strengthen of 15%, and he also deflects all of the damage that anybody takes while an enemy under an HP burn any enemy under an HP burn debuff placed by this champion is going to be getting hit with a lot of reflect damage. So it's going to be really good against clan boss. It's going to be really good against any boss. Even has some viability in arena, although I haven't quite figured out the trick to Geo in arena yet, because he's not really the best option. But today we're just focusing on the Magic Keep. So in the Magic Keep, deflecting and decreasing 15% damage is going to be really nice. Hell, we don't even need the reflect damage, just the 15% damage reduction. It's up permanently, it never goes away. It's a passive ability, so really good passive ability. It's actually one of the best passive abilities in the game that I know of for defensive characters like Geomancer. So... And the funny part is, it says he's an attack champion, but I beg to differ. He's got a lot of defensive qualities to him that just make him so good in controlling. Such as this one here. This is his bread and butter. And it's not even booked, man. You can book this to a 3-turn cooldown. And with masteries and things and all that, it can just be up constantly. So fully depletes the target's turn meter. That's the first thing it does. So we're going to want to build some accuracy into this guy's kit. He's also going to be placing an HP burn debuff and a weaken, the big version of weaken, which is that opponent will take 25% more damage from all damaging abilities when they're weakened like that. Okay, so weaken is great. just a little bonus, but the HP burn, he places that and then fills his turn meter by the amount that the target loses. So that's, that's pretty good. I don't really know how to describe it. It's a very overpowered ability. And for this shield, the answer we have is Creeping Petrify. So it's removes all buffs from a target enemy. All buffs, not removes 2 random buffs or removes 1 random buff. It removes all buffs, which is very important because she's going to be putting up a block debuffs as well. This will remove that. And then he attacks them. And then he steals all buffs instead if they're under an HP burn debuff. So, placed by this champion. So, he's going to be potentially stealing a lot of debuffs, but just removing them is absolutely fine in this matchup. Once we get that shield off the Magic Heat boss, she basically has no health whatsoever, and she's just doomed. Once her ads go down, her little guard minions or whatever, she's completely done because that shield comes off and she's got to wait like 4 or 5 turns to get that back. She's not surviving if you make this build just the way I have it set up here, or similar to it. So reduces the cooldown of Quicksand Grasp, which is the other ability here, by 2 turns if the target is killed by this skill. So, that doesn't really make a whole lot of difference in this matchup. That's more, I think, for Arena or dealing with waves, but definitely not going to work against bosses. So, okay, so that's the answer right there. Other guys, if you don't have Geomancer, anybody that removes buffs, it has to be removes all buffs because she's going to have like 4 or 5 buffs up on her at all times, pretty much. So it has to be a guy that at least removes all buffs, okay? Stealing them is fine too. It's the same thing as removing. And there are guys that could do that, like Genbo or 𝓑𝓵𝓪𝓬𝓷 the Bard, which is another guy from the Dwarf Act. Dwarves just love stealing buffs from people, man. That's like their favorite thing to do. So just give a quick look through your character list and see if there's any guys on there that can do this one thing right here. That's all we really have Geomancer in there for. And the nicest thing about him too is he actually does something very important for us as well. Is fully depleting the target's turn meter is really good in pretty much any matchup, especially against a boss that it will work on, that it will actually work against that boss. So great bonus there. Again, plus the decrease all damage. So we have all that combined into one. It just makes for a really great and easy and smooth run. We're not going to run into too many hiccups there. The decrease accuracy debuff, and it's not really going to work. It's not really going to affect the matchup a whole lot in this particular matchup, but it does have applicability in other areas of the game. Attacks all enemies. Could help get through the waves too, but he doesn't do a whole lot of damage with that attack. As you can see there, at level 60, his attack's only 2600, and I don't think that attack has very big multipliers. So he'll be doing about anywhere between 3 to 6k, and his crit rate is crap anyway. His crit rate is only 30%. I built him up for accuracy. Okay, so we want high accuracy on Geomancer. 248 is about the lowest I would go with him. Okay, you can get extra accuracy by building up your Force Great Hall accuracy, which is one of the best ways to get extra accuracy. And then just using things like perception gear and accuracy gear, and then having accuracy rolls and all the other stuff. As well, the Mastery Giant Slayer is good. I have the Clan Boss Masteries set up right now for this guy, so that when he has somebody under an HP burn and they're damaging, say with an AoE, everybody on my team, they're going to be taking massive Giant Slayer procs from Geomancer and taking a lot more damage. And he has lifesteal gear on, so he's going to be healing to full pretty much all day, every day, especially with his AoE. That's going to net him, 4 to 5k health minimum, bare minimum, if he doesn't even get any Giant Slayer procs. And that's going to heal him up pretty nice there. His HP is very low, As you can see there, my Geomancer stats here, he's only got 27,000 HP. That's about the lowest I would go with. I would want to get that HP up, you know, to about 30k, 35k would be great. Even 40k would be, you know, defense, 3,000 defense on him right now. It's too low, you know. If we're using him in clan boss primarily, which is where he's best at, his defense has to be, try to get it up to like, you know, 3,500 or 4,000, but still have some speed too. As you can see here, I got him at 164 speed. That's not high enough. We want him to be possibly at 170 speed. So unless you're running a slow build with like clan boss or whatever, then he can be put down a lot. But for now, I'm just trying to get his speed to be 170. 164 is just fine. Crit rate, crit damage doesn't matter. Resistance doesn't matter. Attack doesn't matter. That's pretty much it for Geo. The most important thing on him is obviously speed, accuracy, and defense. And they're all very important. And then HP after all that. So on the boots, I got speed boots with crap rolls. As you can see here, my gear's not even that good on them. A very nice chest plate with defense percent, accuracy, and defense as a substat as well. Not very good chest, but it works because it's lifesteal. Defense percent gauntlets, as you can see, they're garbage. 4-star defense percent gauntlets, but they have accuracy and defense on them as well. And then crap rolls. And I have better gear than this. I have no idea why I even have. I think it's because of the accuracy. As you can see there, I got accuracy rolls as well as some speed rolls on this weapon and HP percent. I made sure I got accuracy on all the gear. Okay, his accuracy can never be too high. Never be too high. We want him landing all those debuffs and removing all those buffs 100%. You know, so as you can see there with the helmet, I got a pretty good helmet. It's got speed and 1 roll of accuracy and defense and a little bit of crit rate. You know, never hurt anyone to have a little bit of crit rate built in, because he does do some damage. You know, he can hit. Okay, another reason why I don't really care about his crit rate is because I usually have him paired with Mausoleum Mage, who adds 30% crit rate. But again, is not important with this particular guy. He's doing all of his damage from Giant Slayer procs, which are going to deal massive amounts of damage to the boss, regardless of anything else. Doesn't matter what anything else is. The shield there, pretty good shield, defense percent on the shield, HP percent, and accuracy. And then on the ring, I went for a defense ring with defense percent, a defense amulet with accuracy as a substat. Everything else doesn't matter. An accuracy banner with speed. Very simple. And defense, if you can get one with defense percent as a substat as well, and speed, that would be awesome. But the main thing here obviously is the accuracy banner. Unless you can draw enough accuracy from the other stuff, then maybe we could just go with a defense banner here. But I think that I would even still probably want the accuracy, because he is completely useless when he's not landing his debuffs. Really, he's just a big blob blocking a lot of damage. So we can't have that. You know, I can throw a number of guys in if I wanted that, but Geomancer cannot be doing that. So that's it for Geo. Very, very good, solid. Been very impressed with Geomancer so far. Not only in Clan Boss, now able to 4-key Nightmare, but as we're going to be seeing today, and he's very stellar. Probably in most dungeons. I wouldn't say that he would be that great against the Fire Knight, because he only has a 1-hitter on his A1. And his A2 is not really, it's not really that great against Fire Knight. But I can definitely see him being played against Dragon, and probably anywhere except for Fire Knights. So Yeah, let's move on here to the rest of the supporting cast. So the next, one of the most important ones here, and anybody that can really decrease the turn meter and just kind of stall people, stall the boss, someone like Alure. You don't have to have Alure, but just what she's in there for is her A1 is a 3-hitter that decreases the target's turn meter by 25% on each critical hit. Okay, so decreasing the turn meter is what we're looking at here. And we want to be doing that as often as possible. Alure is the best turn meter reduction in the game. She also has a good A2, which puts everybody to sleep. Gives them a nice little snooze. And everything else don't really matter with her. So I guess thinking of some other characters that can successfully decrease the target's turn meter on a frequent basis. 𝓑𝓵𝓫 does a pretty good job of that with his A1. Can decrease the target's turn meter by 20% on critical hits, and he's an uncommon. He can be farmed very easily, and he also does a lot of damage with his A2. Okay, so that's one guy that I haven't built out yet, but as you can see here, he's actually not a bad option if you do not have a decreased turn meter character to go with. And he can also, like I said, add damage based on enemy max HP and block revive on his A2 on a 2-turn cooldown when fully booked. Very easy to book. Just get duplicates of 𝓑𝓵𝓫, and that's all she wrote. Build him for accuracy, crit rate, crit damage, and defense, and everything else is just a bonus at that point. Okay, so that's supporting cast number 1. We need a healer because we're going to be going up against 260 waves. You don't need to have 𝓸𝓸𝓷 for this particular level, but 𝓸𝓸𝓷 I think is a very good option because she will revive, which is exactly what I just said, and heal. So revive and heal. We don't need to get too much into her kit, but that's basically what she's going to be doing. She's going to be protecting the level 50 Alure, who's very squishy, who has like 20,000 HP. She's going to be getting one-shotted constantly. Okay, so really nice to have 𝓸𝓸𝓷 because she places a veil on her revived ally, and if nobody else has a veil or only one of them is unveiled, then unless they have an AoE, they have to attack the person that's not with a veil, or a random hitter or something like that. So that's one of the other reasons why I really like 𝓸𝓸𝓷. And she has great synergy with Ninja because his A3 gives him a veil, so he's also going to be getting healed because anybody under a veil will get healed by 10% because of Master of Ghosts. That's Rector's passive. Okay, so they also get an increased resistance of 50, which is okay. It's not really super relevant in this particular matchup. We're not going to be getting debuffed a whole lot. Okay, so, but I mean, Reliquary Tender, I guess, could fit the bill here. She's a rare, maybe not so easy to get, but she revives and heals. Just anybody, man, who revives and heals or can keep your team alive. A shield guy. Shields would probably be great. I don't know how quickly you can make it through the waves, but I know for me that if I didn't have somebody doing this job, I would probably not even get through the waves. So not going to go through her whole kit because not everybody has 𝓸𝓸𝓷 and she's not even that important. Like I said, anybody can do this job. Damage dealers. So we want somebody that decreases defense and weakens. Venus is a great option. I know, again, not everybody has Venus, but just Dracomorph, War Maiden. War Maiden is a farmable rare. Anybody that can do this ability right here. AoE, decrease defense, and weaken. That's it. So it just, softens them right up. anybody that can do that job. And then to deal the actual damage, Ninja can be gotten for free out of the daily rewards. Log in for 7 days between now and October 15th, and you will get a free Ninja. Ninja is very good. He is a legendary character, and he's definitely got legendary abilities. His escalation, his passive, every time he hits a target with all 3 of his skills, so Shatterbolt, Hail, Burn, and Cyan Slash, his damage is just going to keep going up and up. His crit rate, crit damage and attack is just going to keep going up and up. And when fighting bosses and all that. So it gets really nasty after about 3 or 4 turns for whoever he's smacking. He also can freeze. You're great against waves, man. Especially if you can get this Cyan Slash book down to a 4-turn cooldown. And it also increases the freeze chance to 100%. One thing I didn't mention with your decreased defense and weaken guy, they've got to have a lot of accuracy. The minimum accuracy that I would go with at a level 20 dungeon is probably like 220 accuracy. Okay, I know that's probably a lot for some people, but it's really necessary because they say about 10 points of accuracy per level of dungeon, so obviously we want at least 200 points. I don't really think it, because I still see things getting resisted even at, 200 or 240 accuracy. Sometimes things are getting resisted. So try to get the accuracy up as high as possible. I have my chick here at 244 accuracy, and sometimes I wish I had more. Ninja, same thing. Ninja's freeze, and as well as his hail burn, which is his bread and butter, he's going to be dealing about 400 to 500k damage on the boss, at the end, toward the end, just with this hit. So it's going to attack 3 times at random, and it can place HP burn debuff for 3 turns. Also places a veil on him, a perfect veil, I should clarify, which makes him take 15% less damage. Anybody under a perfect veil takes 15% less damage, and will instantly activate any HP burn debuffs when used against bosses. Cyan Slash will decrease the cooldown of this skill by 1 turn, and when used against bosses will ignore 50% of the target's defense, so it's really good. Again, Ninja's like the boss king. And then Shatterbolt, he can be your decreased defense guy. If you got a guy that can just weaken and do some other cool things, like, I don't know, he can be your decreased defense guy. He does a pretty good job of this, although his chance of placing it is kind of low, 45% when booked, 60%. Still not exactly, optimal. I would want that to be 100%, but anyways. And it also fills his turn meter 15% when used against bosses. I honestly didn't even know that was there until now, and I've been using him for quite a while, so just another great thing, another wonderful thing to be added onto Ninja's kit. So we build him for accuracy, we build him for speed, we build him for a little bit of attack, but he's mainly my utility guy, so I try to get his crit rate up to 100% if possible, get his crit damage up as high as possible. My Ninja build, though, obviously I had to sacrifice some things because I put him in a lifesteal gear set. He operates very well, and I have him for clan boss mainly, so his build is for clan boss, but it's good everywhere, man. It's good in arena, it's good everywhere. So I had to sacrifice a little bit of damage and a little bit of crit rate, a little bit of everything, man, just to get him in lifesteal gear first of all, and get his accuracy to a bare minimum, which here is 227. So here we go, look at his total stats here. And I think that Ninja could be replaced by another damage dealer in this, somebody that can nuke, and somebody that can stall the waves a little bit, and then do some heavy damage on the boss. Okay, so this is my crap Ninja build, but it's good enough, and it's actually it's doing very well right now. So speed 187. I don't know what I would have him for a minimum speed, but just try to get his speed up over 170, I think would be just fine. And then I have him in 2-piece perception. Rolls on the gear, just accuracy, speed, defense percent, crit rate would be great. Try to get his crit rate up to 100%. Crit rate gloves, nice crit rate gloves there with HP percent, crit damage, and accuracy, and speed and crit rate and attack percent on the weapons. So defense percent chest, I don't think it's right to go with the HP percent chest or an attack chest unless he's just being used in arena. An attack chest would probably be better, but against PvE I think putting him in defense chest is the best. And then for his jewelry I went with a defense percent ring with defense percent. As a substat, or an amulet, defense with accuracy, so all that's really important there. And for the banner, accuracy, and I wasn't able to get any speed on there, but I was able to get defense percent and defense as a substat, so I guess that's okay for now. And that's the team, so let's go for a run here and see how they do after I go into the sparring pit quickly. It's about a 5-minute run, so I'll just explain a little bit what's going on and play some music in the background. And the nice thing is it can be all auto. I don't have to touch a single button for this whole run, so that's really nice too. Another thing I guess I should have mentioned is make sure your healer is getting their heal back often enough to make it good in this matchup, and make sure that they're not the first one dead or even the second one dead. They have to be the final guy standing at all times in order to make this work. So as you can see there, the first thing that's happened is Venus is the fastest on my team, so she's went ahead and decreased defense and weaken on everybody. And then Rector Drath put veils on my whole team, so they're now taking 15% less damage. And then Ninja froze them all, so he was able to land freeze on everybody there, and they lose a turn because of that, which is really nice. Deals a lot of damage as well. And Geo is just being Geo. You're not really going to notice his amazing presence until we get to the boss, but he is actually doing a lot in the background here. He's saving us a lot of damage. Like, Alure is gonna die, let's just put it that way. She's gonna get one-shotted if they even target her one time, even with an A1. So I don't care about that. No one else on the team is gonna die for this whole run, so the only really reason that we have the Reviver in there for, honestly, is Alure. If honestly we would only need a healer, if we could keep our decreased turn meter champ alive for the whole match, then we probably would just need a healer and no revive necessary, based off of what I'm seeing from the team, especially with Geomancer's Stonewall passive. You're seeing the rest of the team here just basically taking absolutely no damage from the waves. So another thing I like too about Alure's kit is, again, the sleep AoE. It really just screws up the waves. It screws up the boss fight. The ads, they don't like getting put to sleep. So another good thing about Venus is she does have HP burn built into her kit as well, which actually works against Geomancer sometimes. Once we trigger Geomancer's HP burn, we need to make sure that Ninja is not overriding it and Venus is not overriding it in certain matchups, like Clan Boss. In this particular matchup, it's really not going to matter a whole lot. You could manual it and make sure that they don't do it. it would only speed your run up by like 20 or 30 seconds, and you would end up having to do about 100 or 200 more clicks than you would have if you had just let it on auto. So I would just let it stay on auto. Honestly, it's, you know, unless you want to waste all that energy, I just don't think it's necessary to be manually this for that one little extra bit of damage. Ninja's going to be the big damage dealer here. And once we get that shield off, then the boss is pretty much no health, so the boss is pretty screwed. Once she gets that shield taken off, it's over at that point. And then from that point forward, Alure is just going to decrease the turn meter, cycle around until the boss is dead. You will notice one thing about when we go into the boss fight, though, that Geo's AI is not smart enough usually to pick up on the fact that we want that shield off the boss immediately, and he'll actually go for someone else with his A3. So, but it's fine. We're in no trouble here at all. As you can see, the team's had full health the whole match, and Rector just does a great job of keeping Alure up. As long as she doesn't get block revived, everything's going to be just fine. And I don't think anybody on this stage has block revive, so. The boss's ads are pretty useless in this matchup too. They really don't do anything relevant. They're just basically big beatings. They soak up a lot of damage, and it just takes longer to get through this fight. But other than that, they're not doing anything spectacular. Another reason why we have decreased defense and weaken, this just speeds up the run so much more. It's basically like double damage, so all the damage we'll have up right now from here on forward is just going to be double damage. If you do have Alure, you probably know how to build her out, but if you don't know how to build her out, and you do have Alure and you want to use her in this matchup, just basically crit rate needs to be at 100%. There's no substitution for that because of her A1 procs only on crit hits, and her speed needs to be very fast, so at least 170. But I think I have her at like she's running at like around 190, and that just seems to be just enough to be faster than the boss, so the boss is never gonna be out, and we don't need a speed booster or any of that, nothing like that. Geomancer will supplement the turn meter decrease as well, which is great. Accuracy too on Alure. Accuracy, obviously, same as anybody. Get it up as high as possible, and she'll rarely miss one of those triggers. So even on weak affinity, she'll still hit those most of the time. Well, there you have it, folks. A shieldless force keep boss that remains shieldless for the entire battle and never gets a turn. So if you like that and you like this video, I just got two big potions, and now I just got 2 more from this run. So 4 in the last 2 runs is very good RNG. But anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and like the video and comment on the video and subscribe to the channel. And with that, I'm getting out of here for today, man. I don't know what I'm putting up in the next video, just whatever sparks my interest. So with that, I'll see you all in the next one.